Good day, sir. The smart ass in me wanted to name this Devonte Squared, but I got a message when I was doing it. So, your higher self is very different from, and this is you personally, although I guess it's like that for everybody, but your higher self is extremely different from your lower self. Your lower self sort of thinks in an ego box based upon everything you experienced and everything you have going on here, right? Your higher self, excuse me, has the big range vision. They know what to do, when to do it, and how to get it done 5 steps ahead of what your ego self is only recognizing down here, right? I gave you prices for readings when we first talked, and you were like, I want a deep dive, but I don't want to pay that much, right? So you paid the 77. Then you made a mistake and gave me, and I'm saying the quotes because your higher self did not make a mistake. You're just about to step into your higher self. So your higher self made the mistake of sending me the PM knowing that I was channeling through the Akashic record anyway, and the answers I was going to get was accurate, except for the rising, which is the only thing that changes based on the birth time, right? Everything else, the same degrees and all that, minus the actual rising itself and the moon, which can be 6 degrees backwards or 6 degrees forward. So either way, your moon was still going to be in Scorpio. After you had to pay me for the second one, right? Your total ends up being 132. I originally quoted you 111 for like a full out rating. When I went to go into the information for your new chart, all the dark asteroids that I was using, because you asked for a deep dive that first time. I felt like your soul was asking me to tell you something, right? We did all that heavy stuff in the first one. The asteroids and the stuff that I already had planned in this one were all the good things, all the light things, all the parts of yourself that you were actually about to step into. But in order for you to step into that, you had to first trust me, right? You had to learn to trust me because you was already sort of drawn in, but you was like, I don't know if she can get through this encryption. That is me. Old Scorpio moon face. So with that being said, I got through to some barriers in there, right? Now I have access to your higher self, and you have access to a part of yourself that would allow you to see it, right? If I just came at you with the good stuff and no awareness of the other stuff, like the karma and all the things that you had been through that held you back, just talking to you all bright, and it wouldn't have resonated the same. But now that I pretty much like read you down to the filth with the darkness, you're like, all right, now, is there something hopeful I can fucking look at? That is exactly what we're about to get into today. You had to trick yourself. And the fact that you are a Gemini rising with a Gemini sun is extra coded because there are 2 parts of you. You have some of that Gemini in the 12th house. The 12th house is that of the unconscious. When you have Gemini in the 12th house, you have a secret twin. My mind just started singing That's My Evil Twin. That's a Megan Trainor song. It doesn't necessarily have to be evil, but how about this? If your twin is a split between who you had to be for your mama and who you had to be for whatever your relationship with your dad is, would you have an evil twin? I'm going to say, because you got that Scorpio moon, there is a part of you that can be a snake. And by that, I mean willing to strike. I'm even feeling just a little bit more like Scorpion. So, you have your sun conjunct your rising now. That's a completely different thing. You have a sneaky Aquarius sun, in a way. And your South Node is still conjuncted. But the difference in the last reading and this one mainly is you are meant to learn yourself first by doing something amongst the people. Getting out amongst the humans in some way, shape, or form that reformats your vision of yourself. And then once you fully integrate who you are and you accept, like, okay, I'm kind of great. And there's particularly a lot of healing that comes around your feminine energy due to your relationship with your mom or people, women on your mother's side. You're carrying some karma from or healing energy in order to fix it in the men on your mom's side. After that comes into place, Then you step into experience as a partner. You go into husband training because you came to get married. So if you were wondering, like, what is it with me and love? After it goes bad so many times, I'm still just out here, like, whatever. Because you came to be a spouse. But you kind of gave yourself a loophole, the same way that you sort of loopholed, like, what's going on with us? That you had to find out your own gold first, or you would learn to rely on your partner to see the best parts of yourself. That mirror thing you were talking about, right? It's beautiful to have a mirror. I think even when you were at your higher self, your best self, it's always good to have somebody right there that is a reflection of that energy, right? But when you get to the point where you can't see your reflection or you don't see your own brightness without another person reflecting like the good parts that you want to see back to yourself, that gives you a recipe for codependency. You don't want to let somebody go even if you know they're not a match for you because of how they make you feel or how they make you view yourself. That is the trap that you have been in. But learning knowledge of yourself, learning knowledge of the feminine energy in the many different ways that it is ranged, has now sort of given you a base for what you want in a relationship and what you don't want and the type of person you want to be. So right now, you are in cultivate yourself in your abundance mode. You want to be balanced within you so that you can get out there and try again. Because this is a lover boy chart, by the way. Like, you love being of service. You love helping people. You love speaking things over people. You like giving advice. You probably like having deep conversations in general. Just like anybody that can engage your mind. But let me let you know. Your drive is at a Virgo degree. The same way that your rising is at a Virgo degree. That means you like to be of service. You like to find what you're good at and just really nail it. That's what makes you feel like technically a king. It makes you feel like your higher self. It makes you feel like the person that you came here to be. And once you start tapping into that part of you that is able to use that love and that, I want to say the loving words that you find when you're in a relationship, the way that you can find a broken female or you see a broken female and then you suddenly can pour life in her and then watch her change into a different type of woman in front of you. That is the gift that you have that you can pour over anybody. Like if you had clients, if you were in a job where you had to talk to people on a regular basis, you would realize the words that you say to them actually kind of change their lives. I'm not sure that you've seen that because your Venus, which is your value, your magnet, has been hidden to you. It doesn't look like there was anybody around when you were younger to tell you how great you were. You actually spent a lot of time fighting for yourself growing up, like fighting to be the person that you are today. So your life is going to be split into 2 tiers. Yes, 2 parts because Gemini rising. The first part of your life is knowledge of self. You learning yourself through other people reflecting you back to you, right? After you feel like you have karmically cleared out all the things that you see in other people, or how about this? You ever come across somebody you don't like? When you get to the point where you listen to them and you be like, and then you say, oh, that's why I don't like them. When you can connect that dot between that person and a part of you that still needs to heal, then you're about to move into the energy of that spouse. Wisdom through experience is your theme as a husband. And that's the second part of your life. That's father energy. That's you recognizing your worth as a masculine who is comfortably embodying their feminine. Like we got the far end of the spectrum, right? But we also got the dude that knows to get a manicure because his hands can get dirty, has found his cleansing regimen, his manscaping, right? Like you can tell you're well taken care of, but you're strong and you're masculine. But when you see a woman crying, you know how to react to that. But you also know how to not be emotionally manipulated by a woman who is using her tears to get what you got. Because bottom line, you came to get moolah too. By using your brain, by using the things that come from outside of you. That is the significance of your Venus in Aries at the 26th degree. You are going to be pulling from money that is owed to you that has been held back because your Saturn is at the same degree as your Mercury. You had to come to emotional balance in a healed version of that Scorpio moon, right? That healed version feels like the Phoenix energy. So maybe you started as a Scorpion, right? After childhood, like ready to sting anybody. Then you dealt with the snake, which means you had to sort of lie in the background and decide if somebody could even pet you, touch you, anything like that. But you were willing to strike at any time if they came at you wrong. The phoenixes flew away from all of that bullshit. And I did just say you came back from a journey. You went through a transformation recently. You are going to be an embodiment of healing energy for other people. That is your business. That is sort of where you've been held back, where your finances or all that stuff has been held back, because you had to start appreciating your own unique genius. In a way, it's like trusting your own experience, and before you didn't think that there was anything of value that you had to share, but that was actually the block. That was something that came from your father's side. Not trusting your intuition is the block there. Not knowing your value is given diamond in the rough. The rose that grew from concrete energy. You didn't know who you were. Like that was even hidden from you. You had to wait. Because if you had known ahead of time, that Asmodeus would have kicked back in. Imagine if your Scorpio moon or your hurt feelings from your childhood were in charge of the person that you are. You might have got as far as you did, or as you have, right? So, with that being said, your business is a work from home business with you as the basis. You talking, speaking, thinking, you're just meant to jump out there with whatever idea pops into your head intuitively, because you are being led by the fool energy. The fool energy is like Beavis and Butthead. You know how they're just sitting on the couch every episode and they're like, this sucks. What can we go do? And then they pick one objective and they go do it. Now, it doesn't matter all the calamity that happens in between. Somehow, besides smashing, they manage to complete their goal by the end of that episode, and they learn an amazing lesson and they just come back and sit home. You are about to embark on another hero's journey, starting with the fool. That is the first step, and yours is going towards having a business that backs up your value to yourself. If you don't feel like you have the tools that you need already to speak to people, to have sessions, because I feel like you could be a counselor for other dudes. You can empower other men, other kings, right? Once you put your crown on, which is what that Sagittarius North Node also is at the 12th degree. The 12th degree is the crown degree. You are rising back into your relationship with Source in a way that is going to allow you to speak that over other people sort of prophetically, like what I'm doing. Like I have my rising at the 12th degree, and my energy right now in your chart is pushing your turning point at your core of who you are. So it's like you already knew all of this sort of kind of, but that lower self wouldn't let you trust in yourself. Now your lower self is still the part that requires some healing, requires some love, but you can't beat it out of you is what I'm getting. And that's the way you've been approaching it. You have to love yourself into opening up to the pieces of you that you have been hiding this whole time. So my recommendation, because one day you will be like the father of a household where everybody looks up to you for wisdom, is to take a Udemy class. Udemy has this thing where you can pay $15 and you can take as many of their classes as you would like. Take one in learning how to speak to people. Take one in counseling. Take one in spiritual healing. Build up your Rolodex. And I know you love this because you love to learn. Build up your Rolodex and your certification so that you can start your own business page, right? In some way, shape, or form. You can even have somewhere in the community, but my mind is just saying because you're supposed to work at home, so you can channel and you can be in control of your environment. Some page online, some platform that you can share your thoughts, but also one that you can take on sessions because you need to talk to people one-on-one as well to impart your wisdom, because you need to be able to tap into them, and you're just going to do this organically as it is. Load up your gun with all the tools that fill in the gaps that stop you from stepping in to your money. Have a good day, sir.